Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hey.
We have some of our whale watchers. Welcome, Jean-Louis. We have Lindsay. We have Demarise and Anthony. Floyd is joining us. Hey, Floyd. Or Linda, Eileen, Crystal. Jessica and Carla, thank you for joining us. We have Angel, Barbara, Tamara, Carla. Hello, hello.
Hi. We got
Grammy.
Zelda with
Zelda.
Lindsay. Is that Charles running around too?
We're just going to wait just a couple of minutes for everyone to join us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into our Zoom today.
So excited for all of you guys to join us.
Andrea's connecting, Jessica, Patricia, Kathy.
Who was here earlier?
This program is for students of all ages, so welcome, welcome. And I'm going to pass it to Jamie, and she's going to introduce what we are going to be doing today.
All right. Hello, everybody. So excited you guys can join us. Just letting you know, we are recording the Zoom program today. And like of the chats, we'll be monitoring that so you can ask as many questions as you want, answer all the questions that we have for you guys. So just take full advantage of the chat box. My name is Jamie, and I'm joined with my awesome outreach educators. We have Patricia and Gavin, Tyler, Sapana, Lenny, and our programs director, Jim, which is awesome. We are super excited to welcome you all to our virtual classroom. We're going to be learning about a variety of ocean animals, from our small little guys, a lot of plankton, to even some of our bigger whales. So you'll get a full range of different kind of ocean animals in there that we're excited to teach you about. And we hope you have fun. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you, Patricia.
All right, we're going to do a little poll question. There's going to be 4 polls that everybody's going to have a chance to answer. And Jim is actually going to cue that up for us. So you'll be seeing them on your screen, and there's 4, so you're going to have to scroll down to see them all. I'm going to just read them, and then as I read them, go ahead and answer them, and then we will show the consensus of our poll. So question poll number 1, how many oceans are there on our planet? 1, 3, 4, 5, or too many to count? We'll give you some time to answer that one. It's kind of a trick question, that one. All right, number 2, in Southern California.
Are we all able to answer the polls? Are you able to click on them? Give me a thumbs up if you can click on them, or a thumbs down if you can't. Thumbs up? Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, question number 2. And you could go ahead of me, that's fine. But number 2 says, in Southern California, how many low and high tides are there in 24 hours? So every day, how many high and low tides do we have in California? All right, number 3, true or false? The great white shark is the biggest fish in the ocean. Is that true or is that false? And the 4th one is, whales have belly buttons. Is that true or is that false? We're going to give you about 10 seconds more to finish answering those questions. All right, and I
Votes
think
are coming in.
Going to go ahead and share.
Okay, let's end the poll, and we're going to go ahead and share the results. Okay, Patricia, for number 1, our participants believe, how many oceans are there on our planet? They think there's 5.
You guys are so smart. There are 5 oceans. There's the Pacific, there's the Atlantic, the Indian, and the Arctic, plus the Southern Ocean along the South Pole.
Awesome job. Okay, for question number 2, Patricia, our participants believe in Southern California. How many high tides and low tides are there every 24 hours? They believe 4.
4 is the correct answer. If you did 2, that's also okay, because you might have thought, well, there's high tides and low tides, 2 high tides, 2 low tides, but 4 total. So good job. Every 6
Okay.
hours, it kind of changes here in Southern California.
All right, for question number 3, true or false? The great white shark is the biggest fish in the ocean. Our participants believe the answer is false.
Ooh, I thought I was going to get them on this one, but they are correct. That is false. And the biggest fish in the ocean, you guys probably already know, is the whale shark. It can grow to be twice as big as the white shark, maxing out at close to 40 feet and can weigh over 20 tons. Good
And for
job.
question number 4, do whales have belly buttons? Our participants believe yes. They think that is true.
That is true. Whales are mammals, and mammals have belly buttons just like you and I. So great job on the poll. And I am
Awesome.
now going to pass the mic over to
Me.
Jamie.
Me. All right. So great job with the polls, everybody. The first topic we're going to get into is plankton. Some plankton, well, most plankton is really, really small, but plankton can be very big as well. And you guys will get to learn all about it. But we do have a video to show you how we collect some of our smallest plankton. So let me go ahead and share my screen here so you guys can enjoy this video.
Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Gavin.
Oh,
We're here on
sorry.
the boat
Technical difficulty.
at the Cabrillo Aquarium, and we're gonna catch some plankton today. First of all, you need some tools to catch the plankton. You need your plankton net, which has this bottle. It's called the caught end. Like when you catch something, you caught it. So this is the caught end. Then we also need a collecting permit because we will be collecting it. So on this, I have a permit. And then this is our collection jar that we'll be putting the plankton in, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'll be dropping it in the water, and we're going to be doing a horizontal tow. What I like to do is get water in here first, add some weight.
Right now, he's just kind of sinking the net a little bit so we can get a good collection of water and plankton.
So the plankton we'll be catching is very small. Not all plankton is small. So this net has very, very tiny holes in it. So tiny, if I go too fast, I'll just be pushing the water out. So I have to go very, very slow. Okay, just one tiny pass like that. And there's a way to concentrate the sample. You just pour it out, let the water drain, and then you just rinse it. It concentrates it even more. So we'll do another pass.
That's good.
See what we get. Samples in there. As I'm looking at it, it looks just like clear water. You see little dots in there, all those little dots. Copepods, baby animals in their planktonic stage where they just float with the currents. So that's how we get our plankton sample.
Now we do multiple plankton toes because we want to get a good concentration of different kind of planktons. Depending with the size of the plankton that you want to catch, some netting is a little bit bigger, some are really fine. So if you want really small plankton, you're going to get the finer nets. If you want a little bit bigger plankton samples, you'll get kind of bigger netting. And then he's doing a horizontal tow, but we also do something called a vertical tow if we want deeper plankton. Once we collect the plankton, we take it back to the aquarium, and we're just going to put it in a petri dish. So we just take a pipette, put it in a sample in the petri dish to put it under a microscope to really find out what we caught. So it doesn't really look like anything, kind of looks like, you know, a bunch of little specks, but you can see some of those moving, and that's some of our plankton, some of our animal plankton. And then the other kind of stuff around there is some of our plant-like plankton. So there are two different types of plankton. With this microscope, I couldn't exactly tell what we got because we actually need a microscope that kind of, I guess, zoom in more to really find out what we caught. But I'm sure there's something called copepods and animals that live in the tide pools also start off as plankton, like crabs and sea stars, urchins, stuff like that. So I'm sure we got a full variety of what we're able to catch. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen for right now. And to learn even more about plankton, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Patricia. And she's got a fun little plankton slides to learn a little bit more about plankton.
All right, we're going to do a true and false all about plankton. So as we go through it, you guys are going to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think it's true or if you think it's false. All right, and we're looking at you to see if you're getting it right. So true and false. Plankton are an essential component of life on Earth. Thumbs up or thumbs down if you think that statement is true or you think that statement is false. All right, I see a lot of thumbs up. Excellent job. It is true. Did you know, my friends, that plankton are one of the most abundant life forms on Earth, and marine plankton plays a critical role in maintaining the health and balance of the ocean and its complex food web. All right, so everyone, take a deep breath and hold it, and let it out. Great job. We could thank plankton for giving us all of the oxygen that we breathe, a lot of the oxygen that we breathe. All right, we're going to question number 2, true or false. There are two main types of plankton, zooplankton or phytoplankton. Thumbs up. Oh, you guys are correct. I think we gave you the answer a little quick, but that is true. There are phytoplankton, which is plant plankton, and zooplankton or zooplankton, which is animal plankton. And here are some examples of both. They're unicellular organisms called diatoms. Then we also have dinoflagellates that kind of move a little bit in the ocean. We also have our zooplankton. They're the animals of the sea, and they start out not looking too much like they are when they're an adults. But to the left, we have veliger larvae, which turn into snails. We have some fish embryos that float in the water column, and also echinoderms, like sea stars and urchins also start out as plankton. All right, and then there's some plankton that float in the ocean their entire time. That's what plankton means. Plankton means floating or wandering. So they float with the waves and the currents, like sea salps and jellies. And then some settle to the bottom and they grow up into animals that we can recognize like in the tide pool or in the kelp forest, like crabs and different types of fish. All right, and our last question, true or false? Some plankton can grow to be over 100 feet in length. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Can some plankton grow to be over 100 feet in length? I see a lot of thumbs up. You are correct. While some species of plankton are microscopic, others are hard to miss, like the jellyfish. Jellyfish are plankton, and the largest species is the lion's mane. It can grow to be over 100 feet, as big as a whale. So this caption is showing a diver, a jelly, and a big blue whale. And they can grow to be over 100 feet in length from the tip of their bill to the end of their tentacle. Awesome job. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I am going to pass the Zoom mic over to Tyler.
All right, everyone. So we're going to talk a little bit more about plankton and particularly what some plankton can grow into. So as Patricia mentioned, we have zooplankton, which are animal plankton. Things like sea urchins, crabs, lobsters, all sorts of animals start off as plankton. We also have the phytoplankton, which are plant plankton, a lot of algae and things like that. But we're going to be focusing on the zooplankton today. And as Patricia mentioned, there are holoplankton, which spend their entire life as plankton, things like copepods, sea jellies, and even salps. But we also have a lot of meroplankton, especially living in our tide pools. So plankton that grow into much larger animals. So we're going to play a little bit of a matching game today. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to be trying to match what these plankton grow into. And it'll make more sense once I have my screen shared. So today we're going to be matching the animals on the left-hand side of the screen to those on the right-hand side of the screen. So on the left-hand side, we have their planktonic forms. And on the right-hand side, we have 6 answers that they possibly could grow into. We have the kelp fish, the purple sea urchin, the crabs, barnacles, oysters, and the copepods. I know you might not recognize the copepods, but if you've ever watched SpongeBob before, that's who the character Plankton is based on, a copepod. So we're going to start with number 1, and I want you guys to write in the chat which animal on the right-hand side of the screen you guys believe that number 1 on the left-hand column is going to grow into. Since it is a meroplankton, it is going to grow into a much larger creature as it gets older. So please go ahead and write which animal on the right-hand side you think it'll grow into in the chat box. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to do that. See, crab, crab, crab. Oh, it seems like crab is the overwhelming answer. And let's see, you guys are correct. Great job. So now let's move on to number 2. This one might be a little trickier. Where number 1 had the claws, you could probably guess it's a crab. Let's now try to guess what number 2 grows into. See, a sea urchin, sea urchin. Oh, it seems like sea urchin seems to be the popular choice so far. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds. Oh, some more sea urchins. You are correct. And I'm going to give you guys a hint that some of these answers are doubled up. But now we're going to move on to number 3. Which animal do you guys believe number 3 grows into? If you look closely, there might be a couple characteristics on the outside of it that'll give it away. Oh, we have fish, fish. Oh, fish seems to be the predominant answer. And let's see, you guys are correct. That tadpole does grow up into a larger kelp fish. Great job. Now we're going to move on to number 4. So far, you guys are 3 for 3. I think we can get all 8 correct. So let's go ahead and put what you guys think number 4 is going to grow into. We see barnacle, copepods. Let's see, give you guys a couple more seconds. We have a couple different answers below. Barnacle. Ooh, let's see. Number 4 is the copepod. See, those of you that guessed copepod are correct, but great job, everyone. So now we're going to move on to number 5. So this one is an odd shape for number 5. Which animal, go ahead and write in the chat which animal you think number 5 is going to grow into.
Barnacle.
Oyster, barnacle, oyster. A lot of great guesses. Give you guys a couple more seconds. Barnacle, oyster. Oh, let's see. It is a fish as well. So as we mentioned earlier on, some of these answers are doubled up, and that is another fish egg. But great guesses, everyone. So now we'll move on to number 6. We still have barnacle and oyster on the board, and one more is also going to be a doubled up answer as well. So let's see, for number 6, we see oyster, oyster, oyster. Let's see. You guys are correct. The shell was probably a good hint. So great job. You guys are able to figure that one out. And now we're going to move on to number 7. This one might be a little tricky. You guys also might be able to figure it out if you look real closely at its outline for number 7.
Barnacle.
Let's see, barnacle, 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 fish. Ooh, a lot of great guesses. It was about 5 more seconds for this one. Barnacle, fish, crab. A lot of great answers. And this one is actually a crab as well.
Oh,
So great guesses, everyone. And for number 8, you guys will probably be able to get this one. Well, I'll let you guys write the answers in the chat as well.
Barnacle.
Let's see, barnacles, copepods, barnacles, barnacle, all great guesses. Let's see, barnacle. So great job, everyone, on participating in that matching game. And don't fret, we do have another one coming up later on in the class. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. But great job, everyone. We are now going to be moving on to the tide pool portion of our class. And I will now be throwing it to Patricia. So I'll also be starting a video up at the same time.
All right, and this video is, Tyler just made this video last week at our Cabrillo tide pools. And we're gonna play kind of a fun interactive game where it's gonna be an I Spy game. So in the chat box, I want you guys to type all the animals, plants, moving slow or fast, whatever you see in the tide pool that is a living organism. So go ahead and let's see all the things we can spot. See some anemones. What else do we see in there? We have some people seeing snails that are disguised in there pretty well. Look at all those plants. We see kelp, great job. Some surf grass. Different types of algae. I spot something purple. I do, I see an urchin. Anybody know what type of snail that is? It is our Olympic. Good job. Another anemone. Lots of things down in our tide pool. Ooh, I see something darting through the lens. You guys see it? That's right. It's a type of fish, the tide pool sculpin fish. Fun times at the tide pool. Great shots there, Tyler. Awesome, awesome. And we, I believe, are going to now go ahead and Jamie and Sapana are going to share another fun video out in the tide pools.
All right, Sapana, you want me to share it?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sapana, and we are going to take a virtual tour of the tide pool. So here we have the tide pools at high tide, where you could barely see the rocks because the water level is so high. But if you notice, as the time passes, the water level actually starts to drop by each hour. So at 10 a.m., it's a lot lower than it was at 9 a.m. And we're going to wait and see. And here at 11 a.m., it gets even lower, and it's exposing all the rocks and algae, possibly some hermit crabs as well. At 12 p.m., you could see distinct tide pools. So the tide pools are created by water that's trapped in between the rocks during a low tide. So let's see what we could find. So here we have an octopus, and you can see his 8 squiggly arms with all his suction cups, and it looks like he's actually trying to hide away from the cameraman. They seem to be timid creatures. They like to be alone, but they're also intelligent, and they can be pretty curious. So let's see what he does next. And he's out in the open. Probably he found food, or maybe he's very curious about the cameraman. And here we have a marine biologist studying the octopus behavior. And as you can see, the octopus is reaching out to see what is in his area with his suction cups, which are really strong, and they're used for grabbing onto food and holding on tight and bringing it to their mouth, which is shaped like a beak. And up, there he goes, he's hiding. So next we have a sea anemone. And once again, our scientist is actually studying the behavior to see what it does when he gently touches them. And as you can see, the tentacles are clinging on tightly to his finger, but they're not using suction cups. They're actually sticky, and they have a toxin that paralyzes other animals, but it has no effect on us. Here we have a sea urchin, a keyhole limpet, which is a type of sea snail. And in this image, you could see chestnut cowries. We could see the keyhole limpet. Here's another sea snail. Back there, there is a sea hare. Here's a cluster of hermit crabs. And here we have 2 crabs. So let's just see what these guys are doing. Looks like they're battling out. So a lot of times when these animals are actually fighting, they could be fighting over territory or food or just to protect themselves. And here we have a clear winner. The loser is walking away, and here we have ochre sea stars. So we're going to actually watch a sea star flip over from its backside to its belly. So just remember that sea stars do move very slow, and this camera is sped up 8 times its actual speed. So you can see the flexibility in the sea star and how they're using their suction cups and tube feet to grab onto the rock. Here we have a beautiful red sea urchin with purple sea urchins surrounding it, another ochre star, and another ochre star, probably eating a mussel off of the rock. So we have a combination of sea stars and sea urchins, and believe it or not, these animals are actually related. A distinct feature of what makes them related is their spiny skin. So as you can see, the sea stars have bumps all along their body. And here we have a keyhole limpet, another type of sea snail. And we have this awesome barnacle that's releasing its cilia to grab onto particles in the water, and they bring it closer to their mouth to feed. And we have a beautiful chestnut cowrie. And here we have a sea hare, which is actually related to sea snails. So they have a reduced shell that is actually hidden underneath their skin. And now the tide is starting to rise, where the water is actually going to cover all the rocks, and it's going to cover all the animals, and we're not going to be able to see them anymore until the next low tide. So thank you for watching the video. I need to pass it on to Tyler.
All right, so great video there, guys. And so now we're going to be talking a little bit more about the many different species that live in the tide pools. As you can see, there are quite a few. And in order to do this, we're going to actually play another matching game, but instead this time of guessing what these animals will grow into. We're going to have 2 columns, and we're actually going to try to guess which animals that live in the tide pools or in our coastal waters are actually very closely related. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and we're going to do it the same way where you guys can write your guesses in the chat. That seemed to work pretty well. So I want to quickly review the different animals that we have. We have the ochre sea star, which is one of the larger sea stars you'll find in our coastal waters. They're actually a predatory sea star that love to eat mussel clams. We also have the hermit crab, which is a very interesting crustacean because their bodies are a lot softer. Their exoskeleton isn't nearly as hard as many of the other crustaceans in our tide pools. So they have to find old snail shells to kind of use as their own home. Below that, we have the chestnut cowrie, which is another type, which is a type of sea snail, where if you look real closely, it has a very thin layer of skin or a membrane that they wrap around the outside of their shell to eat all the bacteria off their shell, making it very smooth, but also getting them fed at the same time. Next, we have the sea anemone, which Sapana and Jamie talked about in our last video, that do have those stinging cells to help them feed on different things drifting through the ocean. And if they get really lucky, sometimes the larger anemones actually get to eat fish. And then below that, we have the market squid, which I'm sure you guys recognize. One of the more common species of squid, especially if you ever eat calamari, that's where that comes from typically. And on the right-hand side, we have the sea hare, which is a very interesting sea slug. That's probably the softest animal you'll ever touch if you get to come across one in the tide pools or a touch tank. But they can actually ink very similarly to an octopus if they feel threatened. They can ink, and their ink is actually very toxic to any predators that are in the water with them. We also have the moon jellies, which is a common type of sea jelly in our coastal waters, but luckily their stinging cells are not strong enough to harm us. And below them, we have the sea cucumber, which is a very interesting animal you'll find in our tide pools. If you look really closely, you can see all the black dots along its body. Those are actually its eye spots. So it has hundreds of eye spots all over its body, but they can't really see like we can, just kind of lets light in and out so they can sense if it's day or night. And these guys are considered good luck because they kind of clean up the bottom of the ocean floor because their favorite thing to feed on is animal waste that makes its way down to the bottom of the ocean. Next, we have an octopus, which I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with their 8 wiggly arms covered in suction cups. They are also one of the smartest animals in the ocean, being able to camouflage and even mimic other animals sometimes. And lastly, we have this California spiny lobster. where if you look closely, you'll notice that our lobsters here do not have large claws, but instead they are covered in spines for protection. That is because along California's coast, we have a lot of rocky shores and tide pools where these lobsters are able to hide away. They don't need those big claws to protect themselves like the lobsters on the East Coast in places like Maine and things like that. So now we're going to play another matching game. So we're going to guess which animals on the left-hand side are related to those on the right-hand side. So go ahead and write in the chat which animal on the right-hand side of the screen is related to the ochre sea star. Go ahead and share your answers in the chat. Sea cucumber. Oh, a lot of great guesses for the sea cucumbers. Give us about 5 more seconds. But those of you that did say the sea cucumber, you are correct. The sea stars and sea cucumbers are part of what we call the echinoderm family, which just means spiny skin. So even though they might not look very similar, they are part of that echinoderm family. Great job. So now we're going to move on to the hermit crab. I think you guys will all be able to guess this one, that which animal in the right-hand column is related to the hermit crab. Spiny lobster. Ooh, you guys seem to all be getting this one pretty quickly as well. And you are correct. The hermit crab is related to the California spiny lobster, being in the crustacean family. Great job. So this next one might be a little trickier, but it's the chestnut cowrie snail. Which animal do you guys believe that the chestnut cowrie is related to? Oh, sea hares. Seems like sea hare seems to be the popular answer. And again, you guys are correct. They are part of the mollusk family, having that real slimy foot to slide across the rocks in the tide pools. Great job. Next, we have the sea anemone. I think you guys will be able to get this one as well. You guys are 3 for 3 so far. You guys all put moon jellies, and you would be correct. The sea anemones and the moon jellies are part of the cnidarian family, also related to soft corals and things like that. And they even have the similar stinging cells on the end of their tentacles. Great job, everyone. And lastly, we have the market squid. I think you guys all know this one as well. And it is the octopus. Great job, everyone. You guys were 5 for 5 once again. So great job on that matching game. And there are plenty more animals to be seen in the tide pools. So great job on this matching game. And so now we are done with our tide pool portion of this lesson today. We are now going to move on to sharks. And I'm going to pass it over to Jamie.
Yay, sharks. Clearly my favorite. We have a fun little video that kind of introduces you just to a couple species. There's a ton of different species of sharks out there. But this video will highlight just a few of them. Sorry. Technical difficulties again. Can you guys see my screen? Is it sharing already? No? Okay.
No.
Sorry. Had this ready to go and I got too excited. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so why I'm doing this, we will be highlighting some of our local sharks, as well as some sharks that I got the privilege of hanging out with in Australia. So it'll be a fun little video. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right. So starting off with my favorite. Is our tide pool one. There's some of our leopard sharks that are at the aquarium in our touch tank. You guys can see great sharks. Our family Sea Life Aquarium in Australia, which is no longer there, but if you guys probably notice that their teeth are like super pointy and sharp, depending on what they eat. All sharks have different kinds of teeth. That's me at the end in the blue mask. Going into our great whites, which are my absolute favorite kind of shark. If you guys are wondering what that thing is hanging out on top of the water, it is just a bait drum, which attracts the sharks. So we're able to kind of learn about them and bring them closer to us. This is during a cage diving. fun little trip that I got to do. Obviously, all the fish that are attracted to the shark. And the shark didn't seem to go very far, but he disappeared in the water pretty quick. They get very curious, so this one happened to come really close to the cave, and he actually tapped his nose on the cave. That one happened to hang out with all the cameras. A lot of fun. You can also tell if the shark is a male or even like rays. So rays are very similar, or cousins. If you look at the bottom, they kind of have two different teeth, like the male or this is our torpedo ray. We're gonna like the black ray. Aquarium. We don't have them anymore, but again, this is our California. Also, you can at the aquarium, kind of hang out in our tank with the clippers. You can tell they all kind of vary in size and even shapes. This again was only a handful of sharks that you'll be able to see, but you will notice that like the biggest shark, the whale shark, does not look like a great white or a school shark. And their teeth won't be the same either, so they're going to be different for one thing. More of our small hounds at our aquarium, which hopefully if we ever get to open soon, you will get a chance to see as well. So just more of our smooth hounds hanging around. Those guys are little. You think they're going to be feeding on like sea lions and stuff? No, they're probably feeding on smaller things like, you know, maybe fish and other cephalopods, stuff like that. Hanging out more with our sand tiger sharks. Again, you can get a real good look at those teeth. You guys can just imagine what they will be eating. Anybody want to take a guess what maybe they eat?
Fish.
It's me, right above my head. I just wanted to touch him. I wasn't allowed to.
Looks like your hair might have touched him.
If you guys want a fun story with that, they also have a ray, which I did not get on video, but it's the size of a queen size bed. So even rays get really big. And that one actually almost hit me in the head. And back to our fun great whites. All right, now off of our coast, like I said, even though some of those sharks were taken in Australia, you will see them off of our coast. Like we do have great whites off of our beaches. You know, just you can go out to Catalina and you can find them. But we have a variety, even some blue sharks are out there, some makos, thresher sharks. They all look very different. They all feed on different things. So their teeth are going to be very different as well. And we actually have a fun teeth matching game that you guys are gonna kind of partake in. So you guys can get an idea of the shape of their teeth and what they would be eating.
So I'll jump in here and we have one more matching game to go through together. This one, as Jamie said, we're gonna be matching different shaped shark teeth to which shark they belong to. Let me share my screen one more time for this game. And so we are going to be matching the teeth on the left-hand side of the screen to the the 6 sharks listed on the right-hand side of the screen. We will start with the great white or on the right, I'll go through the sharks really quickly. We have the great white shark, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. There have been plenty of movies made about them, but they are not nearly as scary as the movies make them seem. We also have the bull shark, which is a very interesting shark because they are one of the only fish species to be able to leave the salt water and swim up freshwater streams, ending up in lakes and rivers miles from the ocean. Next, we have the leopard shark, which is one of the more common shark species along our coasts. They are very small, very friendly. They love to live in the kelp forests. And if you're interested, certain times of the year, you can actually travel down to the La Jolla Coves and swim with thousands and thousands of them that travel there to give birth. We also next have the mako shark, which is actually the fastest species of shark, being able to swim at speeds over 40 miles per hour. So that might make you think they're able to feed on things just as fast. Below that, we have the tiger shark, and the tiger sharks are nicknamed the junkyard shark because they are known to eat just about anything they come across. They do love fish, they do love sea turtles, But researchers will often, if they ever find a tiger shark that has passed away, they love to dissect it and see what different things they can find inside. And they have found everything from license plates to buckets of nails, the back half of a horse, all sorts of different things that find its way into the ocean somehow. And the tiger sharks make a nice meal out of them. And lastly, we have the swell shark, which is another shark common to Southern California. Very small little sharks, but they get their name the swell shark because when they feel threatened, they actually suck in a bunch of water and swell their body up like a big balloon. So if they're hanging out in the tide pools, they'll swell up large enough to get wedged in between those rocks so that predators aren't able to pull them out of the rocks and feed on them. So once again, we're going to use the chat to try to guess which teeth on the left-hand side match up with the sharks on the right-hand side. So we will start with number 1. So as you can see, the first tooth shown has a large point, showing that they probably like to eat large fish, sometimes even small marine mammals when they come across them. So do we have any guesses which shark tooth number 1 belongs to? Go ahead and write your answers in the chat. I see tiger shark, mako shark. A lot of great guesses so far. Great white. Ooh, take a couple more guesses here. Bull shark. Ooh, so far we have 4 of the 6 guesses. So showing this matching is a little tougher than our previous ones, which is awesome. So I'll give you guys about 5 more seconds to guess. Great white, another great guess. And actually, tooth number 1 belongs to a bull shark. Once again, those bull sharks love to feed on just about anything they can come across in those shallow waters. They're often found in the Gulf of Mexico, so they feed on all sorts of different fish and even some smaller marine mammals that they might come across there. And then they'll even swim upstream and have been known to swim up the Mississippi River, feeding on all sorts of freshwater fish. Next, we're going to look at tooth number 2. So this tooth is a lot longer and skinnier, meaning that they're probably trying to catch a lot smaller prey. So smaller fish, sometimes even squid, things that might tend to be pretty fast. I'll give you guys that hint. See, a lot of guesses are the mako shark. And those of you that guessed mako are correct. The makos are known for having pretty crazy teeth going in all different directions, and they are very small and pointy. So now we're going to move on to the teeth number 3. And as you can see, sharks do have plenty of rows of teeth. It varies by species how many rows they have, but typically have anywhere from 4 to 7 rows of teeth, constantly growing new ones as they lose them, with some sharks living long enough to have over 3,000 teeth in their lifetime. Let's see some guesses for what shark teeth number 3 belong to. So far we see great white, tiger, great white, leopard shark, a lot of great guesses. These ones are very small and pointy, so they like to feed on a lot smaller prey, small squid and fish. And these teeth belong to the swell shark. So they like to feed on some very small squid, fish, anything they can come across in our kelp forests. And tooth number 4, I think you guys might be able to guess this one. The long, pointy, triangular tooth that have become pretty iconic. See a lot of people putting Grace White, a lot of great guesses. Oh, a wicked big shark. Awesome there, Jim. A lot of great guesses. Great white. And those of you that guess great white, you are correct. That is from a great white shark, and they are able to go, like we mentioned, thousands of teeth in their lifetime. We have 2 left. And so these are some more smaller sharks. So that might be able to be a big hint here. Teeth number 5 belong to a smaller species of shark that feed on a lot of small fish, particularly things that might live in the kelp forest. So I see a lot of leopard shark guesses. Great job, everyone. And tooth number 5 belongs to the leopard shark. Awesome job. So now for tooth number 6, you guys can write your answer, but there is one left, and it belongs to the tiger shark. And a cool, quick little fact about the tiger shark teeth is that, if you notice, their tooth is at a large angle, and that has happened because over time, tiger sharks do like to feed on sea turtles, and by having that hook-shaped tooth, they're able to bite through that turtle shell, where a lot of the other sharks that have very pointy, straight down teeth, those tips break off when they try to bite through the turtle shells. But by the tiger sharks having that hook on their tooth, they're able to actually bite through those sea turtle shells and feed on sea turtles for lunch. So great job, everyone, on that guessing game. I believe we have one last shark activity with Patricia before we move on to our whale portion of the class. Oh, Patricia, you are muted.
She's muted.
All right, I'm now unmuted. All right, we're going to do a guessing game. It's a guessing game on who am I. So we're going to test you on all the wonderful info that you learned in the past 10, 15 minutes with sharks. So we'll start our slideshow. All right, so in the chat box, we're going to zoom in and then we're going to zoom out. So I thought that was, you know, we're on a Zoom, so we're going to zoom in and zoom out. So I'm considered a gentle giant, feeding on plankton and small crustaceans. I'm considered the largest fish, reaching lengths of more than 40 feet. Who am I? So in the chat box, go ahead and try to guess. If you guess the whale shark, you are correct, the whale shark. All right, second one. I am one of the widest ranging sharks known to swim more than 40 miles a day. I typically migrate to cooler waters where I feed on schooling fish and squids. My color is as deep as the ocean is blue. Who am I? All right, if you guess blue shark, you are correct. And if you've ever seen a blue shark in the wild, in the ocean, and you're on a boat, hopefully you're on a boat and not in the water, but they are the bluest blue. It's the prettiest indigo blue you've ever seen. All right, we'll do a couple of more. All right, I roam inshore sandy flats and kelp beds and feed on fishes, crustaceans, urchins, and innkeeper worms. I also have an animal-like pattern. All right, this kind of is a tricky one because it's showing two fish and then the shark. So what shark do you think has a land animal-like skin pattern? If you guess the leopard shark, you are correct. All right. This shark actually can turn itself into a U shape when it feels threatened. It grasps its caudal fin or its tail fin by its mouth and swallows a large quantity of seawater, which makes it swell to twice its normal size. If you guessed it was the swell shark. And we have swell sharks at the aquarium and right off our shoreline. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about cousins of the shark. So I'm a boneless fish that scans the ocean floor, featuring a skeleton made of tough tissue called cartilage, the same stuff in your nose and in between your joints. So who am I? Any guesses? If you guessed stingrays, rays, and skates have cartilage in their bodies. All right, and we're going to end on this one. I have a huge mouth and I feed with it wide open, and whatever plankton floats nearby, I will eat it up. I'm not aggressive. I'm harmless to humans. If you guessed basking shark, you were correct. So those are just a few of our sharks here in Southern California. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the Zoom mic to Tyler, and we're going to switch gears and we're going to learn all about whales.
Yes, so we are now moving on to our whale portion of the class. And to start this out, I'm going to share a video I recorded in the lagoons of Baja a couple years ago, where the gray whales travel every year to give birth. So let me go ahead and share my video here. And here we go. So yeah, it's believed that gray whales are able to dive to depths of close to 400 feet and swim at speeds over 30 miles per hour when they feel necessary. They don't always swim that quickly. But unlike other baleen whales, gray whales are bottom feeders, primarily feeding on benthic species including misanthrope, amphipods, as well as tube worms. And newborn calves are an average of 16 feet in length, weighing around 1,100 pounds, so very large baby whales. While adult gray whales are known to grow to lengths of 45 to 50 feet and can weigh between 70 to 75,000 pounds. gray whale's lifespans aren't fully known, but researchers estimate that they do live to be over 40 years old, living quite a long life out in the ocean. And gray whales actually have the longest migration of any mammal, traveling from their Arctic feeding grounds down to Baja, Mexico, where this video was filmed, which is a distance over 6,000 miles each way. And on average, they swim roughly 70 to 80 miles per day. And lastly, here we just have a video of some of the sea lions that we came across on the trip as well, enjoying their day in the water. Now I will throw it to, I believe, Gavin is up next.
Right. I should look that open. Okay, that was a great video, Tyler, about the whales. And as you see, all those whales, all whales, there's different species, about 80 or so, 85 or so different species of whales. And they all live in the ocean, or I should say they all live in the water, underwater, their whole life, just like the fish, but they are not fish at all, right? In fact, there's something called mammals like you and I. They all have hair, fur, they all mammals give live birth, they all feed their babies milk, and they're all warm-blooded. They all breathe air, just like whales breathe air, we breathe air, cats and dogs breathe air. So everyone take a deep breath. You're using your lungs. Now fish use their gills. They take the oxygen out of the water. Whales and mammals take oxygen out of the air. And when we do it, it's no big thing. We do it all the time and it's no show. There's no one watching us giving, maybe if we're singing or something or doing a show, but just breathing is not extravagant. But in whales, it's so cool. People go on boats and look at them far away with binoculars just to see them breathe. In fact, they give them a special name when they breathe. It's called a spout. And they blow the spout out of their blowhole. And I did an experiment to demonstrate this. I don't have a whale here. We don't have real whales at our aquarium, but we did an experiment so you guys can experience the spout. Okay, let me share my screen. And I'll be stopping it in the middle so you guys can participate. Hi boys and girls, my name is Gavin and welcome to the whale spout demonstration. Today I'm going to recreate what you might see and hear when a whale surfaces from the ocean to take a deep breath of air. I have some ocean water here. I'm going to put on the top of my blowhole and I have a bike pump to build some pressure in his lungs. Let's see how. Okay, now to get you guys involved in your chat box, you can guess how many times it's going to take for it to spout, and I'll give you a hint, it's less than 30. Okay, so I'll give you 5 seconds to guess. I'm on pump number 2, and we'll start it back up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How many times it takes for this whale to spout? Did you see that? Did you hear that? I sure felt it. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Thanks for joining me. Bye. Those of you that guessed 18 were correct. And I don't know if any of you have seen a spout, but it's pretty cool. You can actually see a rainbow sometimes in the spout. When we breathe, we don't make rainbows, right? I think that's pretty cool. And a little fun fact is sometimes the whale watchers can tell what type of whale it is by the shape of the spout. And sometimes you can hear that spout from 2 miles away. Pretty cool. And staying on whales, you guys are kind of sitting there for a while. Now I want to get you more involved. We're going to do something that's famous from the known from the Cabrillo Aquarium called the Do It, Do It. So get you guys involved. It's a lot of imagination. All right, we're going to become whales. So abracadabra, poof, you're all whales. So whatever I do, I want you to do it too. So let's make a blowhole. Take your nose and boop, 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 boop. You made a blowhole. Good. Now make your whale body and the flippers and the whale's tail go up and down, and you're swimming 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, 20, 30 miles an hour. You have held your breath. Now reach the surface and make a spout and take a breath. And then wave to the whale watchers. Is that cool? Guys, one more time? All right. Take your nose, make a blowhole. All right, make your whale body and the flippers swim, swim, swim. Make your spout. And the wave to the whale watchers. Thanks for doing the whale spout. Do it with me. I had a great time. And now let's do a little bit of whale jeopardy with Sapana.
Okay, sounds good. All right, hello everyone. So how we're gonna play this game is I will call out one of the outreachers and they will pick a category and the amount of points. And you guys could type in the answers into the chat box. So, Gavin, can you pick a category?
Let's do easy. Let's do true false for 300, Sapana.
True false for 300. True or false? Whale species can be identified by the shape of their spout.
That's funny. I should know.
I'll give you guys 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I see a lot of true, and you guys are absolutely right. All right. Tyler, can you actually pick a category?
Let's do name that whale for 200.
200. What species of whale can be seen in all major oceans and has a distinct black and white color pattern? All right, orca, humpback. Any other guesses? Orca, orca. All right, so let's see what the answer is. Orca or killer whales. Good job, guys. All right, and Jamie, can you pick a category?
Let's go a little bit harder. Let's do whale record holders for 400.
Ooh.
Oh, challenging. What is considered the largest dolphin? Ooh.
It wasn't that hard for them.
Orca, orca, orca. Let's see what it is. It is the orca. Awesome. All right, Patricia, can you pick a category for us?
All right, let's do name that scientist for 200, Sapana.
200. Okay. What do you call a scientist who studies ocean currents?
Ooh, that's tough.
Ocean currentologist?
We got we got oceanographer.
I like what Floyd said.
Any other guesses? Going once, going twice? An oceanographer. Awesome. All right. Jim, can you actually pick a category for us?
Why, Sopana, I would love to. Thank you for asking.
Oh, thank you.
Let's do true or false for 400.
400. Let's see what's going on here. True or false? Whales lay eggs. I see a false, false, false. Let's see what the answer is. And it is false. All right, guys. And then, let's see. Floyd, would you like to pick a category?
Yes, why not? Not my money. I'll go with name that scientist for $500.
Oh,
All right,
Big
Let's
bucks.
do this. Oh, brave. All right, so what do you call a scientist who studies all types of ocean life? I see marine biologist. All right, let's see what the answer is. A marine biologist. You guys are way too smart. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more question. Patricia, how about you pick the last category?
All right, let's do ocean conservation. Let's go for the big one for 500.
Oh, okay, let's do this. Which marine mammals need our protection? All of them, all of them, all of them. Let's see what the answer is. All marine mammals need our protection. That is absolutely true. All right, guys. Well, that was our Jeopardy game, and I'm going to actually pass it back to Gavin for our question and answer portion.
okay. So if there's any questions I can answer for you guys, you can raise your hands, or let's see if I can get everyone. Or you could just write it in the chat if you'd like.
So I think I'm gonna unmute everybody, and so then if anybody wants to ask a question, it might be a little loud in the beginning, but why not? We'll all say hi to each other. So I'm asking everyone to unmute who would like to unmute.
Can we register for a virtual field trip for fourth graders?
Patricia, are we?
I'm gonna pass that one to Jim.
That's a great question. Yeah, we're almost there with more virtual classes. And are you on one of our teacher mailing lists, either for teacher workshops or anything like that?
I don't know if I'm on one or not. I've done some activities with Cabrillo, but it's been a while because second grade we used to come as field trips. But I participated in the Sea Monster contest, but
Oh, cool.
I think it's mostly I see things on Facebook.
Can you? Okay, so let me see. Would you like to send me your email through a private chat, and then I'll send you the link to sign up as a waiting list, and then we'll contact you once we have our classes nailed down.
Yeah, we would love that. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, we had a
If there's
great
any other
turnout,
teachers
and I
on
thank
here, you
everyone
can do
for
the same
coming.
thing. Send me a private message through the Zoom, and I'll send you a link.
Who are you again?
I'm Jim.
Jamie?
I'm the program director.
Oh, Jim or I see Jamie.
Jim
DePompe. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Any more questions that we can answer for you? No?
Oh, good.
Did we answer all your questions about all the extraordinary animals that live in the sea?
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Oh.
question?
As an estimate, how many different species of creatures are living in the ocean right now?
A lot.
We'll stump the staff question.
Millions.
Cool.
We'll even tell you it's way more because there are over 35,000 species of just fish. So just keep adding on to that. So there are a lot of different species of animals that live in the ocean.
Also, currently we're exploring Mars, but the bottom of the ocean still remains quite unexplored.
That is true.
They say we know more about outer space than we do about the ocean because there's just so many new discoveries every day that scientists and researchers and enthusiasts are learning about.
And also, I just read that.
Oh, sorry. Was
that there's 1 million about 1 million species in the ocean. 95% are invertebrates.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Charlotte, was that you that mentioned Mars?
Yeah, there was a Mars rover landing today.
Yes, and they successful.
Yeah.
Charlotte, what I want you to do, this is my very special friend, Charlotte, who's actually living up in the Bay Area. She came to join in. I want you to build something that like goes really, really deep down in the ocean, and then you can teach me about it, okay?
We're all going to be waiting for that.
Like,
We're waiting.
awesome.
You have
Any other last questions?
I think Carol has her hand up.
Yes.
Go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Dolphin? What do dolphins eat?
Dolphins love to eat things like fish, squid. Yeah, so
Those are their top two. Fish,
yeah,
fishes and
they
squids.
love. Great question.
And then if you're the orca, which remember we learned about is the biggest dolphin, some orcas eat smaller mammals.
Yeah,
Even sharks.
Sometimes even sea turtles.
yeah. So depends.
Good question.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I do
I'm
have
looking.
How big can an orca get? I don't know if Diane is around, but they could get about, I'd say 20 feet maybe.
Sarah's saying 30.
Up to, yeah, 27. Males can get 27 to 30 feet.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Their dorsal fin can be 6 feet tall,
right.
and that's pretty amazing. If you think about an adult male can be, you know, about 6 feet tall. That's just their dorsal fin, which is pretty huge.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't usually those the males?
The male, yep, the adult male gets the really, really tall dorsal fin.
Thank you for those questions.
I have a last question.
Sure, Charlotte.
Why do some people, I've heard of instances where people actually kill sea turtles for their meat and manta rays and other different creatures?
Yes, very sad. That's true, and it's usually, I mean, it's they're protected, so they shouldn't be.
But in some countries, like certain meats like that are very, I guess, expensive delicacy. So they're also kind of taking advantage of that. And again, they shouldn't be because a lot of those animals are protected. Good question, Charlotte.
Going along with that question, how about sharks? Are they protected all around the world now?
All around the world, no. There are a lot of places that are protected, but there are still many places that they are not. And even when there are places that like the sharks are protected, sometimes they'll label like the meat that they catch as something else. They do the same thing for whale meat as well. They kind of mislabel it to kind of get away with it so they won't get in trouble.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate everybody. You guys stayed over our hour presentation. If anyone has any last questions, if not, I'm going to have you guys just go ahead and look in the chat box. And if you scroll up and down, if you go to our website, we have lots of cool learning pages that you can learn all about, from plankton all the way to the biggest animals like whales. And we also have our CMA Ocean Outreach Padlet page. And you can copy and paste that link and it'll take you to lots of different videos, fun games that you could upload from your computer. So thank you, thank you. I'm gonna send it to Jamie and she's going to wrap us up today.
Just saying thank you guys once again, even for sticking around longer than our hour. It was great having you guys. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I'm sure I had a lot of fun. And I hope to see you guys all for our future broadcasting. You guys were such a great group. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to either ask us on Facebook. You know, you can ask questions, join our YouTube page, stuff like that. So we definitely love to hear you guys, see you guys again in the future. So thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Great job, guys.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.